All my life, I'm back. Good morning everyone and welcome to this week's update from a chilly but very beautiful Greenbank farm today. I want to start with Uber before we look back because I know so many of you saw the lovely short video that Frey posted of him happily grazing alongside Drommy's driveway yesterday, and it was such a relief to see him looking so happy and peaceful. Now, I don't want to worry anyone, but we aren't out of the woods quite yet. I spoke with Sam, who some of you will have picked up already, feels that the ulcers were likely caused by the impaction, so it's vital that we check that his stomach is working properly and digesting everything that he's been eating since that impaction was cleared. So he's going to get scoped again on Tuesday afternoon, so please keep everything crossed for our sweet little weirdo. I would also like to thank those of you who've already contributed towards his care. It's certainly going to be another costly vet bill this month. And just to reassure those of you who picked up on it again, yes, I had a pretty horrible cluster migraine attack last week, which really knocked me. But after finally managing to break that cycle and catch up on some sleep yesterday, I'm back on top form. So hopefully both Uber and I will be heading into a much better week this week. So back to last week, Monday kicked off with the team arriving very early for the first pour of concrete in the girls' storage area down in their barn. We had Steve from Baymix, who you'll remember from when he supplied the concrete for the foundations. He was back again. We also had Alan, who was here with his telehandler. Tony had Wayne and Adam with him, and everybody was all kitted out and ready to go. It was like a well-oiled machine down there. By lunchtime, the whole area was looking amazing. While they were busy with the concrete, I had the pleasure of welcoming another very, very special visitor to the farm, 84-year-old Ruth, who travelled all the way from Canada to spend time with us and the horses. It was so special, so if you've not seen the vlog of her visit, do take a look at the channel. Tuesday, things did start to go somewhat downhill. The rain hit us quite hard, and both Uber and I were not in a good way that morning. We ended up taking our first trip of the week up to see Sam at the surgery in Penrith. Now, Wednesday was live day, and the lovely Anne stepped in to bring you the morning feed time live with Frey. We also had Paige in for her first day of volunteering. I was feeling a little more human by the afternoon, so I did manage to get you out for a short live hack with Renska. Sadly, the sound did drop out as we headed into the girls' new area to see what was happening, but I'm sure that there'll be plenty more videos on that coming soon. That afternoon, the bale pad was also concreted, and Alan and Tony were very busy again getting the whole area tidied up and levelled, ready for the wood fibre that was arriving the following morning. Now, as soon as the wood fibre arrived, I was back up to see Sam with Uber, as I wanted to get him scoped to check what was going on in his stomach, and thank goodness we did, because Sam found that impaction. So when I got back to the farm, it was just as busy as ever. Chris had been, he'd done Mabel, Hunnis and Doubtson, so they'd all got new front shoes. Frey, who, bless her, she's usually on admin duties with Tamar on a Thursday, thankfully came out into the yard to help Molly with all the boys and girls. Down in the girls' turnout, Tony had got all the wood fibre levelled out. David and Mike had made a great start with getting all the wooden gates and the first posts in for the fencing. It's going to look absolutely stunning once it's finished. Now, I was due to be going over to Mel's that afternoon with Doubtson and Micah, but had to cancel because there was a little problem with the lorry. Then, just as I'd arranged for our mechanic to come in the following day, I heard that Uber really needed to get home because he wasn't particularly settled up in Penrith. Now, we do have a trailer as a backup, but with car with no tow bar, we had to take Tony up on his very kind offer of borrowing his truck. So we went up that evening and brought him home and got him tucked up in bed for the night. Hoitzer was back in stable stays on Friday with two very excited young ladies. You'll see more of that in the next vlog. He just had the time of his life. He then had more visitors on Saturday who were here for a more emotional reason, because Michelle had lost her own three-quarter bred Friesian a year to the day. So she and her partner Peter came along to spend a night with Hoitzer to honour her own horse's memory, which was such a lovely thing to do. She left us a beautiful note and has even joined us as one of our patrons. who all of you play such an important role in keeping this place running day to day. As I say, Hoyt's had the time of his life over those 2 days, creating more memories for everybody that came. He's now back with his little buddy Jubbers, who got to spend a couple of nights with cheeky Nero. Over at the Shippen behind me, Michael and Ian have been making great progress with the roof, and Edward and his team have done some truly beautiful stonework around the building. I did manage to have a catch up with Tamara over the weekend because she does all the research, the design, looks for different suppliers, and she ran me through some of the work that she's been doing, so that I'm a bit more up to speed than I usually am. As you know, I tend to focus on the horses and their needs rather than the buildings, but that's why she and I make a really good team. But everything's beginning to come together and I'm starting to understand it a little more clearly, so hopefully I'll share some of that with you this week. Anyway, moving on to this week, temperatures are set to drop again, so we'll be keeping a close eye on everyone out in the fields. There's still plenty of grass, but once the frost sets in, they will be needing something extra in their bellies, so we may end up starting to supplement them with haylage if things do freeze. I'm also considering putting a temporary fence across half of the 14-acre field where the girls are usually grazing at this time of year. So as I say, we'll see what the weather decides to throw at us this week. So today, I believe David's going to be back continuing with the fencing down there. Mike's going to join him midweek. Tony's going to be setting up the water harvesting tanks on Tuesday, which unsurprisingly have turned out to be nowhere near as straightforward as I thought they'd be. I've actually ordered some concrete manhole rings to raise them high enough off the ground so that we can access the water. But I'm going to let Tony explain all of that to you once everything arrives. Tuesday is going to be a busy one, but also very special, as we've got two of our wonderful patrons coming to visit. Firstly, the lovely Mary Mayland, who's bought so many beautiful gifts over the years, including the signs that you've seen for the Hoyt's and Jubbers house, the boys' shelter, and several of the new tracks. And I believe that she's even bringing along the Hoyt's Highway sign this time. Then we've got Diane Pell, who's going to absolutely make Anya's week. She's going to be spending some time with her in the Friendship Barn. In the afternoon, Sam's back again to check on Nika's teeth, and he'll also be scanning Uber again. It's going to be a little bit of a heart-stopping moment as we find out whether there's any more impaction in his stomach. So, as I say, fingers crossed, it's all working as it should be. Wednesday is, of course, live day, so Frey and I will bring you the usual feeding time chaos, followed by a wander round the girls' turnout, and the yard and the Shippen if you all want to see it. And all being well, I'd love to get you out for a hack, and hopefully we'll have some weather like we've got today. I think we're long overdue a little trip round the village, don't you? Thursday, going to be back at Mel's, which will be lovely after having to cancel last week. This time Skinny Innie is going to be going. Hazel's going to be taking her for her very first lesson with Mel. On Saturday, we've got another wonderful patron coming to visit for the very first time. You'll have heard her name recently, as she very kindly donated the still blower for down in the girls' turnout. Her original visit did get postponed due to the weather, but all being well, she'll be here on Saturday, and she's going to spend some lovely, peaceful, cosy time with little Hiddy Hops in the Friendship Barn. Aside from all of that, it'll be the usual mix for myself, Frey, Molly. Our volunteers, Hazel, Diane, Anne and Susan, are all going to be joining us on different days during the week to help out with the boys and girls. We'll be trying to fit in as many PEMF sessions as we can, and of course dealing with whatever the weather decides to throw at us. There's also still a huge amount of planning happening behind the scenes for the girls' turnout, so Frey and I will no doubt be spending plenty of time in the office too. With Christmas fast approaching now, we do have some wonderful gift ideas on the website, from our 2026 calendars to those beautiful pieces that are created by our quilting and felting queens Diane and Wendy. Don't forget about our Christmas raffles as well. They're in full swing. We've got the Nancy's unique hat and fingerless glove sets. We've got that stunning beach painting by Claire Davis. And we have an additional bonus raffle that got up on the website last week, thanks to Wendy, who's made some absolutely gorgeous one-of-a-kind bags in the various colours for each of the horses. And can you believe it? Finally, I am going to stop soon. By this time next month, we'll have had the official opening for the girls' turnout. So thank you to those of you who've already got your tickets for the 14th of December. We do still have some available, along with a few rooms left in the farmhouse. So if you'd like to come along and celebrate with us, a brilliant team who've worked so hard to get it all done. And of course, the real stars of the show, the girls themselves. There'll be food, drinks, lots of Frisian cuddles and a chance to make yourself at home in their new home. It's not too late to get involved. Aside from the sponsorship opportunities, the concrete panels, the gates, the water tanks, all the tools that we need to keep the area maintained, the general GoFundMe campaign is still very much open. So if you'd like your name listed on one of the donors boards that are going to be going up in the building fairly soon, do head over to that campaign page. I know it's a cliche, but truly every single contribution helps, and it brings you into the most wonderful community of genuine animal lovers from all around the world who simply share the same care and respect that we do here at the Sanctuary. That's it for now. Let's get on with the rest of the week and see what surprises lay ahead. And as always, thank you for being on this amazing journey with us.